Hello inventors! In this video, I'm going to show you how this little notebook can help you protect your invention, secure your patent rights, and help you avoid legal liability. Let's talk about that. I'm Elias Borges, and I'm a patent lawyer and registered patent agent with over 32 years of experience. I help people protect their inventions and get their products to market. If this is something that interests you, then you should consider subscribing to this channel. Years ago, I had a client that was involved in a very complicated legal dispute that lasted for years and cost a fortune in legal fees. The dispute was over who the actual inventor of a particular patent was. The case involved a joint venture between two companies, but it was actually my client's employee who actually did the inventing. Unfortunately, my client didn't have any documentation that proved that it was their employee that actually created the invention. They ended up losing that case because of a lack of documentation. Now, this case illustrates how a lack of documentation can be detrimental to the success of a project, particularly where multiple people are involved in creating and commercializing an invention. An inventor's journal is an inexpensive and easy way to ensure that you keep good set of records, which can help you overcome legal disputes should the needs arise. Let me tell you the sorts of things that make a notebook like this a good inventor's journal. Let's start off by discussing a paper-based notebook, like this one. I found this particular notebook in a dollar store, and it cost a grand total of around $4. I prefer a hard-covered notebook like this because it protects the pages inside a little better than a paperback journal. I also like a wire-bound notebook like this because it allows you to lay the notebook flat on a table, making it easier to write in. Wire-bound notebooks are also a bit more convenient because you can hold the pen within the wire binding, making it easier to keep your notebook with your pen. I suggest you use a wire-bound notebook rather than a 3-ring binder because you're less likely to remove pages from a wire-bound notebook. Removing pages can result in a loss or misplacement of the pages. I prefer notebook with blank pages because it's a bit easier to draw sketches and illustrations in the notebook, which is a useful thing if you're trying to describe an invention. Also, if you can find it, a notebook with numbered pages is great because you don't have to number the pages as you go along. These types of notebooks can be found in any store that sells school supplies or stationery. As I said, I just paid $4 for this notebook in a dollar store. After you've picked your notebook, the first thing you should do is write the date on the first page. Every time you make a journal entry, you should write the date down. This ensures that the journal can be used to prove dates when events happened. You should also number the pages as you go along, but that's not strictly necessary. Now, what should you write in your notebook? Well, basically, you should write down anything that you think is important which relates to your invention or to the project. For example, if you make a modification or improvement to your invention, put that in the journal. Any experiments or trials that you undertook should also be recorded in the journal. Any telephone calls, meetings, or emails which relate to your invention or project should also be detailed in the journal. Now, some documents or other important evidence can't fit in the pages of a journal, such as a prototype or a video or even a voice recording of some sort. They can't be included in the pages of the journal unless you refer to them in writing in the journal. When you refer to that type of external evidence, you should also put down in the journal where that evidence can be located to make it easier should you require that evidence at a later date. Now, eventually you might write down so much that you'll need an additional notebooks to record it all. In that case, you can keep your older journal in a safe place for later reference. So some of you might be asking, does a journal have to be a physical paper journal? Can't I do this with a laptop computer or a smartphone? You can, but I found that a hardbound paper journal is easier and more convenient to use than a computer. It's also easier to draw sketches and write down quick notes that can be referenced easily. And that's a little bit quicker to do with a notebook than even with a smartphone. Now, having said that, there are a lot of journaling apps which are available for iPhones and for Android phones that have a lot of additional features that make them useful as an inventor's journal. The key with those types of apps is to ensure that the data is secure. So what advantages does an inventor's journal give you, and how can you use it to avoid legal disputes? Firstly, by recording details of what you invented and when, you can quickly clear up any question of ownership in cases where several people are involved in the developing of the product. Any person who makes an inventive contribution towards an invention is an inventor. So if 3 people worked on an invention, but if only one of those people made an inventive contribution to the invention, then there is only one inventor. A properly used inventor's journal can help you sort out who's the inventor and who isn't. An inventor's journal can also help you resolve disputes relating to business arrangements between parties. The journal can be used to record minutes of meetings with inventors, investors, suppliers, lawyers, etc. You can also use the journal to bolster your legal documents like confidentiality agreements or non-disclosure agreements by providing a reference as to the information you had before the confidential meetings take place. Lastly, the inventor's journal can be used as a convenient place to record things like contact information, deadline dates, or other important information that you might need periodically. By keeping all of that information in a single, easy-to-use journal, you can be more efficient and get things done a little bit quicker. So that's my take on Inventor's Journal. But what's your opinion? Do you keep an inventor's journal? If you do, what types of journal do you use? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for a topic that you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, do me a favor and give me a like. See you again soon.